Good morning, Division E Toastmasters, Division E Council members, visiting Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. I am Camille Mary, Division E Director, and it is my pleasure to call this training session to order. Without further delay, it is my pleasure to introduce today's Toastmaster of the Day, who will guide us through this session with efficiency, grace, and enjoyment. Our Toastmaster of the Day is Sassoon Foy from the Tortola Toastmasters Club in the British Virgin Islands. Sassoon is an innovative, critical thinker who thrives in the face of adversity. She embraces new challenges just as she is taking on the role today. As a new Toastmaster, Sassoon is eager to gain valuable knowledge as she embarks on her Toastmaster journey. Fellow Toastmasters, help me welcome Toastmaster Sassoon Foy to the virtual lectern.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests, and thank you, Division Director Camille, for that warm welcome. Let me establish the protocol. Let me acknowledge the protocol already established by yourself. Mic is on mute. Can we all mute our mic? Can we all mute our mics? A little bit of housekeeping. Great. I think we have it under control. All right. Good morning, everyone. And how are you guys feeling today? Today, we will be having an interactive session with our Toastmaster, Sharie-Ann Stapleton. Just to get the day started, I am going to go into the chat where I was looking earlier. Can you guys just let me know, a little icebreaker, which Toastmasters club you're joining from today? I'll be in the chat waiting. so we can acknowledge you. Or do I need to unmute mics and have roll calls? Tropical Eloquence. Good morning. Chatula Toastmasters. Genesis 1. Tropical Eloquence again. Antigua Coast Toastmasters Club. Let's Chalk Toastmaster and Summit. Waladi. Did I say that right? Waladi Toastmasters. If not, my apologies. Virgin Islands Public Service Toastmasters. Guyana Royal Toastmasters Club. Golden Rock Toastmasters. Golden Rock Toastmasters, where are you based? Just for my knowledge.
Can you repeat, please? Good morning.
Golden Rock Toastmasters, where are you based? Where's your location?
St. Eustatius.
Eustatius, awesome. Barbados, I say them. Eastern Orator, nice, welcome. Any more that we have in Conception Toastmasters of Grenada, Spice Island Toastmasters Club. So Division E Director, you see, and Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, we have a wide range of persons joining us today. Any more that we did not mention or we didn't see? Anguilla, MDA of Trinidad and Tobago, Anguilla Toastmasters Club, TFBC Toastmasters Club, good morning. Creative Intellect Toastmasters, good morning. Any St. Croix Toastmasters? I'm not seeing any. Western Knights. Western Knights, where are you joining us from? If you don't mind. Jamaica, good morning and welcome. That it for all our Toastmasters clubs in the meeting today? Anyone from St. Croix in the club? I haven't saw them. Anyone signing in from the St. Croix Toastmasters Club? Or the Black Pineapple Toastmasters Club? No, we don't have any. Well, I think I saw BVIEC Shockers. Are they in? All right. Nonetheless, let's get started. Welcome all from all the clubs in all the different districts, divisions, and areas. Welcome to Division E, District 81, speech writing class. Without further ado, I would like to introduce your presenter for this session. It is none other than Public Relations Manager, Toastmaster Sharie-Ann Stapleton. UE Global Campus Toastmaster Club, welcome. Last but not least, welcome. Turn your attention to the video as it plays.
Sharie-Ann grew up in the British Virgin Islands, and it is the only place she calls home. She holds a Master and Bachelor of Science degree in Management and an Associate's degree in Education. Sharie-Ann currently serves as the Executive Assistant to the General Manager at the BVI Electricity Corporation. Sharie-Ann is a mom of one who enjoys reading, researching, tutoring, traveling, and adventurous activities. She also enjoys community service and charitable works. In 2021, she started Snacks for Kids as a relief to children in need within the British Virgin Islands. Sharie-Ann currently serves as Division E's Public Relations Manager. She has served as President's Distinguished Area 27 Director in 2023 2024. President of the President's Distinguished Virgin Islands Public Service Toastmasters Club in 2022-2023, and as Vice President Public Relations in 2021-2022. Let's welcome Toastmaster Sharie-Ann to the virtual lectern.
Good morning, Toastmasters in the house, good morning. Unmute your mics, I want to hear a resounding good morning.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
I love it. All 43 of you, thank you so much for joining us this morning for our speech writing workshop. It's going to be a grand workshop. I hope that everyone would be able to take away something, make a note of something, and walk away with it for your use. So thank you so much again for joining this morning as we prepare to dive on in to our speech writing workshop. Now, Diana Buher said, if you can't write your message in a sentence, you can't say it in an hour. Isn't that impressive? Diana Buher, hats off to you. Today's outline is as presented to you this morning. We're going to go through effective message crafting, mastering storytelling, research and rhetoric, structuring speeches, language, and tone. Persons are expected to write in this session and follow the instructions that will be given. I ask that you save your questions, make a note of them, question and answer segment, as it might just touch on what you wanted to ask. And we have a few minutes, I would say, to go through this entire workshop, and we want to make sure that you receive all the nuggets that you came for today. First on the list, effective message crafting. The first thing I'll say here is know our audience. Before we write our message, we need to understand who we are writing for. Are there concerns that we need to be mindful of? What's the temperature, aka the mood of the people in the audience? In addition to what's their age, the purpose at the meeting, because of course we won't speak to others the same as we will speak to a group of police officers about AK and goodness and people going over cliffs on high-speed chases, or HR managers, would we? So it's important to know your audience. Secondly, define our purpose. Our message should reflect our purpose, or why we are speaking and what we stand for, or our purpose for speaking. Our purpose should be clear. Never have your audience thinking, what is it about again? What was the point? Leave them impacted positively. Thirdly, how do you want your audience to feel, think, or act after receiving our communication, after we give our speech? What is our key message? It should be simple, concise, and consistent. Keep it simple. Let me hear you say, keep it simple. Unmute your mics and say, keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple and memorable. Craft your speech in a simple, memorable, and easily understandable manner. Avoid jargons and complex language that will lose people right over their head. Here's your first set of instructions. Right? Because you're preparing a speech, eh? You're preparing a speech. So I want you to write down, picture the audience that you would like to speak to, the purpose for that particular speech, and the point. These things don't need to be elaborate. Audience, group of employees, purpose, tardiness at work. The point, come early. That's how simple I need you to write it. So I hope you have your notebooks, your pens, and that you are writing, or open up a Word document. That way no one has an excuse as to why they did not participate in following the instructions provided. Now we're moving on to mastering storytelling. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. Now, I know that all of us like some tea. And you're going to hear me say unmute and say quite a bit of times because I like to hear you as much as you probably like to hear me speaking on and on, right? So unmute your mic and say tea. Any tea?
Tea.
Tea.
Tea. Any tea?
Would you like a cup of tea? Some of us like a cup of tea. Some of us like piping hot tea on various subjects, whatever that subject might be. We know we like our tea nice and hot or just right. Start with a compelling hook when you're writing your speech or an intriguing question to grab your audience's attention. From time you start, that's what you need to do. Grab them. Then develop your story by introducing the characters, the conflicts, and challenges that relate to your main message. I don't have to tell Caribbean people how to introduce the characters, the conflict and challenges, because I know that we have that down pat. We have nicknames with all close friends so that when we say that name, everybody knows what we're speaking about before we get into the juice or the tea of the matter. Storytelling. For example, Division E Director Camille recently gave a speech on ants. And she started off her speech with, the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. And I'm like, automatic attention. I was pulled in. And she didn't just sing that song for us. She told us why. She was sitting or was at home and she saw a set of ants taking one poor moth towards a tiny hole. And she was wondering, are they going to get this ant, this moth, into this tiny hole? What was the point of her message? She was telling us about teamwork and how solid the team of ants worked together to get that moth into the hole. And it was very effective. She caught us, she hooked us, and she shared a story that had our brains firing, our eyes paying attention, our ears keen in like a dog when the ears cock up like, what was that? So you bring your story home to a satisfying conclusion by providing insights, solutions, or lessons learned from it. When a speaker weaves compelling stories into their speech, it enhances their credibility. It demonstrates a mastery of the subject matter and an understanding of the audience's needs. Moreover, storytelling reveals authenticity and vulnerability, making the speaker more relatable. Storytelling uniquely impacts listeners by creating a strong emotional connection through the human voice and sound, which are closely linked to memory and emotions. Now, based on the purpose that you wrote before, your audience, your purpose, your point, I want you to write down a note on a real life story that you can use as an example to match your purpose and point. For instance, if you wish to speak about gardening, think about a time that you started gardening. It can be humorous, serious, or an epiphany moment. After hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017, I went outside all fresh and clean from my bucket bath. If you know about this, you know. I went outside in the bare place. Trees were gone, everything was gone. And I had on my bright yellow sleeveless dress. In less than 30 seconds, here comes a bee or Jack Spaniel, thinking I was a sunflower because they're usually there. Our home is surrounded with sunflowers. And it stung the grace of freshness out of me. What's the point here? Plants are needed. Jack Spaniels or bees, whatever it was, need them as well as we need them. As simple as that, I just caught your attention. I gained your attention, and it sharpened the introduction of a point, which would lead into the topic gardening. Also, we would then capture the tool of personalization. It's about you or it's about me. The audience, according to Say It Like Obama book, which was one of my recent reads, likes when you recognize the circumstances, remember the details so that they can be responsive to things too. You do not want to be presenting and getting a flat line from your audience. That would be danger. I know. Dorado. Some of you remember that. Some of you might be too young for that. And because some of you might be too young for that, I wasn't very mindful in including that in this speech. I was not very demure. You All right, so I hope you were able to write down a note of that story that you hope to include to match your audience, the purpose, and your point for your prepared speech. And we're moving on to research and rhetoric. Research, investigation into a study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach conclusions. While sharing your tea, story, information, and so forth, you want to ensure that you are sharing. I hope you can still hear me. I just got a message saying my internet is unstable. It must have felt an earthquake. You let me know. Somebody, can you hear me?
Hearing you fine.
Okay. So while sharing your tea, you want to ensure that you are sharing, that what you are sharing is not fake news. Nobody wants fake news. Imagine someone saying, according to President Daniel, this assignment was no longer needed. No, President Daniel sitting down and wondering what they're talking about. Well, VPE Rhea Vanterpool knows that she was the one that stated it. With this, the audience now questions your credibility, and many persons like myself like to fact check. So make sure that what you are sharing is factual. For example, if I were to say, bees don't like human beings, on what ground can this statement be justified? No, I have my own reasons, right? But can I make a broad statement like that? I would then have to contend with the bee fanatic on the possibilities of getting stung by a bee in a bright yellow dress, looking like a sunflower, after a tragic hurricane. So adding credible information to your speech enhances your credibility and that of researchers. Adding research information to your speech enhances your content and reinforces your purpose or point of the speech. This takes us to rhetoric. Rhetoric is the art or skill of speaking or writing formally and effectively, especially as a way to persuade or influence people. It's a tool to be used appropriately. Rhetorical devices in speech can be used in many different ways. Your tone of voice, emphasis on certain words, sentence structure and repetition, or even asking questions for emphasis rather than for the answer. Rhetoric goes quite deep, as some of you may know, but today is not the day to explore rhetoric in length. But I will share with you some items. Common rhetorical devices. Number one, metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that compares two unlike things without using like or as. For example, time is a thief. Past Division E Director Yvonne Thomas always speak about this and a presentation she had done. This is a catchy phrase and pulls your audience in 4 words. And persons may be hooked because they can relate. Time is a thief. Or the thief of times, I think was her caption. But that's an example of a metaphor. Simile is similar to a metaphor, but it is like or as to compare. For example, her smile was as bright as the sun. Wow. Automatically, you have the audience imagining things. Guys, you hearing me? You have the audience imagining things and painting pictures. Woo! Similes. Then we have anaphora, repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of a successful clause. I have a dream. I have a dream. This drills your point home. Always repetition wins. Number 4, we have exaggeration. For emphasis, I've told you a million times, put down. We know what we're talking about. Exaggeration. Now, you know you ain't tell the child put down that game a million times. You know not. You probably say 5 times too many times, but exaggerations drive your point at home. Even though you're using exaggerations, it should not be exaggerated throughout your speech. Keep your credibility intact. Remember, we spoke about credibility when you're serving tea. Keep your credibility intact. If he ate 1 bread, don't make it seem like they ate all the bread, suggesting that they had like 5 rolls when you know it was only like a half a bread leaf back. Do not exaggerate certain points. Leave it alone. Number 5, irony. Saying one thing but meaning the opposite. Isn't it ironic that the fire station burned down? God forbid. And I'll sip on some water right here to the firemen in the house. None of these devices should be used. None of the 5 devices just shared should be used back to back in your speech. You should include these to catch drifters or to keep audience engaged. If any of these are overused, your speech will not be impactful. With rhetorical devices, you can elevate your speech by 1, being purposeful with selections, Choose devices that align with your purpose. If you want to evoke emotions, use metaphors. For logical arguments, employ an aphora. I have a dream. Use variety. Don't rely on a single device. Mix them up. Use metaphors, similes, exaggeration, and more. Variety keeps your writing engaging and prevents monotony. Same thing. She said I joke again. She really said that again. You don't want to kill it or straight it out. You ever had some wash out lemongrass? Ain't nobody want wash out grass. We want it strong, right? We don't want it wash out, or some peppermint bush. You don't want it wash out. So use it cautiously. Don't have it watered down. Another thing is contextual fit. Contextual fit. Ensure devices fit naturally within your content. Avoid forced or awkward usage. If a device doesn't enhance your message, reconsider it. Reconsider. Imagine a speaker addressing a diverse audience at a conference. The topic is effective leadership in a multi-generational workplace. However, the speaker begins their talk with a series of outdated pop culture references from the 1980s. Nothing wrong with the 80s, mind you. While some of the audience may appreciate the reminiscence, others, especially younger participants, might feel disconnected or confused. In this case, the lack of contextual fit between the content and the audience's demographic could hinder effective communication. Practice. Like any skill, practice makes perfect. Experiment with different devices, analyze famous speeches, and learn from masterful communicators. Nothing is wrong with practicing and learning from others. Remember, effective rhetoric isn't about showing off. I know similes and I know metaphors. Oh, I can exaggerate. It's not about that. It's about connecting your audience and leaving a lasting impact. To avoid overusing rhetorical devices, consider the following strategies. Place them purposefully. Use devices strategically where they have the most impact. Don't sprinkle them around randomly in your content. Instead, place them where they enhance your message. Use them subtly. Less can be more. Sometimes a single well-crafted metaphor or an aphora is more effective than a barrage of devices. Prioritize quality over quantity. After writing your speech, review your work specifically for rhetorical devices. If you notice repetition or excessive use, trim or rephrase as needed. And I think we all know rhetorical questions like, have you ever been stung by a bee? Do you own a yellow dress? Or have you ever felt paralyzed from the sting of hurtful words? Those are strategic questions to ask to gain the attention of your audience and to allow them to think about it rather than focusing on listening, on answering, rather than focus on answering the question. Based on the purpose previously written, or even your story note, choose rhetorical devices as shared before and write 2 or 3 statements that you can probably employ in your speech to match your purpose, your audience, and your point, and the little story that you wrote on the side. Now we're moving on to structuring speeches. Structuring an impactful speech is essential for engaging your audience and delivering your message effectively. Somebody unmute and say effectively. We want our speech to be effective.
Effectively.
Effectively. So we're going to create outline. When you're drafting your speech, create an outline. Just like a letter or a report, a speech should have a basic outline. Start with an introduction, followed by the main points you want to cover, and conclude with a powerful statement. Here are the essentials. 1, preparation. Choose your topic. Consider your audience, as we mentioned, and refine your focus. Craft an opening greeting with an attention-grabbing introduction. Define your statement, which summarizes your speech's main point. For the introduction, second, set the stage with an attention getter. Clearly state the central message of your speech. I like using quotes and stories that are directly related to what I am about to share. You can also use rhetorical questions to get your audience thinking and open to what you're about to say. Have you ever left your house after a hurricane only to return 2 minutes later and go in your bed? Now I have you thinking, when have I just left my house to return? Or I remember when I forgot my keys, I forgot my jug. So you're automatically thinking and relating to the question. That's what we want. Then we have the body. The body. This is where you dive into your main ideas. Each main point should have supporting details or which builds your credibility, as discussed before. Credibility is important. This is where you employ those rhetorical devices we spoke about. Metaphors, repetition, similes, and more to be used throughout the speech strategically, or to use just a little for that impactful point you're hoping to cover. Then we have our conclusion. This is where you summarize your main points and leave your audience with a memorable closing statement or call to action. Did you know Division E has a Facebook page? This is where we upload all our events. We recognize persons, clubs, and areas. So this is my call of action to you today, to like Division E's Facebook page if you have not done so for the day or at all. If you have not done so, do it now. Second, as we discuss structuring your impactful speech, choose a speech pattern. Decide on a structure for your speech. Common patterns include chronological, the start to finish, problem or solution, cause, effect, or compare, contrast. Stick to one pattern to maintain clarity and coherence. If there's an issue stated, then you state the solution. You choose a speech pattern to follow. Work on transitions, number 3, for structuring your speech. Smooth transitions between sections keep your speech flowing. Use phrases like, now let's move on. In addition, or similarly, transitions help your audience through the content. If you were ever in a hot conversation with me, I mean like fresh bread out the oven with that cup of tea, you would understand the importance of transitions. My mouth goes like hopscotch. It goes into hopscotch mode, and I'm jumping all over the place with excitement. Am I the only one who does this? I'm working on it, but am I the only one? Transitioning from one point to the other is so important. Number 4, revise your speech, edit your speech. After drafting it, review it for clarity and conciseness. You want impactful points. Remove any unnecessary details or jargon that just gone on and you kind of, okay, you digress. Practice delivering it to ensure more fluency and aplomb, aka confidence. I got this word from CFBC Excellence Word of the Week, aplomb. It means to be confident. I found that was so neat to learn. Consider what your audience might still wonder after you speak, after your speech. Address any gaps or information or potential questions that may be asked and include it in your speech for clarity's sake. So get ready to write using the structure I just provided. And we move on to our next slide, language and tone, very important. The tone of your voice plays a crucial role in effective communication, especially during a speech. Here's why tone and language matters. Emotional impact. A speaker's tone conveys emotions, enthusiasm, energy, compassion, or even hostility. It often leaves a greater impact than the actual words spoken. Caribbean people, I know you have heard the lingo. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And this is 100% true. If you agree with me, say 100%.
100%.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it, baby girl. Clarity. The correct tone enhances clarity. It helps emphasize key points, making them more memorable for the audience. Rapport. Tone creates rapport with your listeners. A warm, engaging tone encourages connection and attentiveness. Build that rapport. Desired response. From language and tone, we get response. Whether you want to inspire, persuade you to like that Facebook page and the Instagram page, or inform you, your tone influences how your message is received and acted upon. Now, using tone effectively in communication, especially during speeches, can significantly enhance your message. And here are a few tips. Match tone with message. Consider the purpose of your speech. Is it informative, persuasive, or entertaining? Adjust your tone accordingly. If you are announcing the death of a loved one, my God, if you sound too excited, I'm concerned. Match the tone with the message. If you're saying, I just got promoted, and you say, I just got promoted. We're on the same page? Is a promotion or a death threat? Because your tone don't match your message. So make sure to match tone with message. Vary your tone. Monotone delivery can be dull. Vary your tone to keep your audience engaged. Use emphasis, pauses, and changes in pitch to highlight key points or create suspense. Vary your tone. And you could do this on when you're writing your speech, highlight certain speech points to say emphasis here or smile while saying this, something to remind you so that when you're practicing, you know, okay, I'm varying my tone here. And this allows you to be authentic because you know that feeling that you feel. Authenticity builds trust. Speak in a way that reflects your true feelings and beliefs. If you're passionate about a topic, let that enthusiasm come through in your tone. Consider audience perception. Understand your audience. Different groups may respond better to different tones. And practice active listening. Pay attention to others. Respond to your tone, to how others respond to your tone. If your audience is responding how you need them to respond, adjust your tone. If you notice disinterest or confusion, adapt your tone to re-engage your listeners. And at this point, I'm going to pause and receive any questions for answers that you may have had while we went through this first leg of this speech writing workshop. Do we have any questions? I wasn't that clear. Was I? Questions? Anything for clarity
You
after
were
one?
very clear.
Ooh,
Crystal clear.
ooh.
Good morning,
Good morning, Toastmaster
Mishnala.
Mishnella.
Yes, the message is really clear, but it was going really fast for me to be able to grasp the information because it's a lot of information. Will this presentation be sent to us?
The recording, I believe, can be provided. Our Division E director can confirm. To my knowledge, it's being recorded and can be circulated.
Agreed.
And it is
Confirmed.
great. It is
Okay.
a lot of information. And of course, Toastmasters, one of the feedbacks we get is too long, meetings too long. We want to kind of get the information that we need in and disperse. So thank you so much for sharing your feedback, Toastmaster Mishnella.
Most welcome. One question. Oh, okay. Once it's going to be sent, then I don't have to ask the question, but it was from slide 1.
Okay, let's see, slide 1. No, not that slide, right? This one?
1, yes. You have meant define your purpose. Point 2 and point 3 was saying certain things specifically to it. Can you summarize it as a bit so I can
Sure. Define your purpose, the reason you're giving your speech. Where are you speaking to the audience that you're speaking to? What's the point of your message? So when you're drafting your speech or writing it out, you first need to understand the purpose for this speech. And then you write your key messages. So you have your purpose. If your purpose is you want to encourage gardening, you give key messages to why gardening is important. We
And
need
now
trees to breathe and so forth. So you write it out so that you have an understanding of your key messages to match your purpose.
Okay, now if you want to talk about leadership, how would I do with purpose and the key message? To give an example.
Okay, leadership is a very broad one. So I'm going to pick one out of the bunch. With leadership, being able to help or support persons that are following you. The purpose would be to encourage leaders to support, let's say, subordinates or staff. So the key messages would then be the issue that you probably identify. You realize the leader is leading and they're going and they're achieving things, but the rest of the group isn't as successful or isn't accountable. So the message would include solutions as to how can you enhance this, or how can we all work together to make sure that it's not just the leader going ahead, but that everyone is making a positive impact and making strides.
Okay, understand.
So something along that line.
Okay,
All right. Thank you so much for asking your questions. And then I'll take one more from Toastmaster Catherine, and then we'll go into a short break. Toastmaster Catherine.
Good morning. You spoke on repertoire, going over and over the same thing. How can we, as Toastmasters, cut off and get to the point of what we want to say instead of going over? And sometimes we go so long that at a time we forget or we don't make sense in what we are saying.
So you're talking about rhetoric and using repetition and anaphora.
Yes.
This is where with anaphora, you're not repeating a statement, or you're not repeating like the same thing over and over. This is why I do this and you go over the same thing. It's not that. This is where repetition is used strategically, like saying moving swiftly is important, and then you give a paragraph as to why moving swiftly is important. Sometimes you have to move right away to capture that thing that you intended to to capture, and you give a little paragraph, and then you could say moving swiftly is important, and you give another example, another paragraph. And that's a strategic use of using anaphora, because that one phrase, just that 4 or 5 word phrase is being used at the beginning of each paragraph, so that you capture your audience. At the end of the day, when your audience leaves, they're going to remember that moving swiftly is important, even if they don't remember all the details that you gave. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Did it answer your question?
Yes. Although I'm just trying to figure out how do I put that brakes on.
Okay.
But we have to, again, I think I just have to know my audience and how to communicate with them.
Right. And writing out your speech would help with that. And I think I'm being summoned to break. Take that 5-minute break.
Indeed,
so guys,
you are.
So guys, I am going to pump brakes right here, just like this, Toastmaster Catherine, and allow the 5-minute break. See you guys back here soon.
All right, Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, before you leave, before we take break, I just want to mention and welcome District Director to the speech writing workshop, District Director Elka Price. Welcome. And now we take our break. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 minutes still. However, you guys get your coffee, get your tea, your cereal, and we'll see you back shortly.
Sound. And we're back. I hope you're able to stretch your legs, get a glass of water or coffee, hot chocolate, and you're ready to move forward into the second part of our speech writing workshop this morning. Are you all here with me? Say speech writing.
Speech
Speech
writing.
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 All right. All right. I heard that kitty twang, speech writing. Yes. I have sugar in my blood, so that's why I act up sometimes. But hey, we're on now to our hands-on project. If you registered for this, it means that you probably saw the flyer, and which means that hopefully you read the flyer and the part that says come prepared to write. So during this workshop, you would have been making copious notes, I hope, in the various areas. Your assignment now is to write a 2 to 3 minute speech about any topic using the areas discussed today. Effective message crafting, knowing your audience, the purpose of your speech, the point of your speech, mastering storytelling, associating some sort of story that's relevant to your purpose and point that you can use to personify or personalize the purpose of your speech. So storytelling, research and rhetoric, researching that information you're about to share. That tea I'm about to drink, make sure that it is correct tea and not, random tea that wasn't researched. Rhetoric, repeating or using metaphors, rhetoric, persuading. And you could also have rhetoric questions and uses to impact your audience, pull in your audience, hook your audience and pull them in. And structuring your speech. Are you gonna tell us about an issue and provide a solution? Are you gonna give us a story in chronological order? Don't tell me the start, then the middle, the start, then the end, then the middle, and then go back to the start because you forgot something and go back to the finish. That's confusing. So structure your speech and use language and tone. If you know that at a particular area you want to convey emotions, you could highlight it in a nice light blue. If you know you want to get a little radical, you could highlight it green so that you know at different parts, or make it bold at different parts of your speech, you know how to behave and how to act up so that your audience stays with you, right? So I want you to take 10 minutes. The timer is going to be set. The time is going to be set. You're going to use 10 minutes to, let me just make sure that no one's, okay. 10 minutes to draft your 2 to 3 minute speech. And then we're going to see how much time we have. And we're going to have at least 2 persons presenting their speech today. So do I have any bold and courageous individuals that would be participating in this so that I am not known at this workshop for my volunteerism? By the show of hands or unmute your mic.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, we have one, Toastmaster Christine. Toastmaster Cheryl Mingo, I see your name. All right, timer, we can start the clock at 10 minutes. And we're gonna give persons 10 minutes to craft a 2 to 3 minute speech. You're gonna keep it on the 2-minute side if you like. Let's do that. In the interim, I know some people like to work with silence. You can turn me down in the meantime if you need to. And I would ask persons if you have any questions, any other questions that you would have liked to ask, you can do so now. In the end, I'll provide some bonuses. We're improving your vocal variety is concerned. Improving vocal variety is essential for engaging speeches. And here are some practical tips, because it's not every time you could just say, this is helpful or this is useful. And then, how do I do it? Pitch variation. Vary your pitch by intentionally raising or lowering your voice. High pitch can denote excitement, emphasis, while a low pitch would add gravity. You know, when you're speaking about something very serious, the tone of your voice kind of dips, and it shows the gravity of the situation. Like I mentioned before, the day I turn my radio on and a funeral announcement is happening and somebody just seemed like the life insurance was over 5 million at best, I have a problem. I have a problem. So pitch variation is important. And even in your speech, you will know, you could even make notes next to the paragraph. High pitch. If you're giving a speech and somebody, your evaluator is saying to you, you need to work on your vocal variety. This is for you. Make a note. High pitch on the side. Is your notes on the next side? Low pitch. So you know, I'm up here right now and I'm sharing and I'm excited. But right now, I'm now down here because I need the audience to understand that it is important to me to see you leave here today with some notes and information on how to craft your best speech and use the tools and devices that you gained today to implement in your upcoming speech, because that's important to me. And then rate of your speech. The rate of your speech. Adjust your speaking pace. Slow down for some important points or to emphasize clarity. Slowing down is important. Toastmaster Christine, Toastmaster Cheryl, Toastmaster, let me just say a random name here. I hope you're doing well with your 2 to 3 minute speech. You have a few minutes more to go. Toastmaster Marvin Thompson, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Lovely. And how's that speech coming along?
Slowly.
Slowly? Okay, we'll work with it. We'll work with it. Lovely. Toastmaster Sassoon?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I got all your points on writing speech. Is there any tips on how you can manage when you write your speech to calculate a time allotment? Like one of the challenges you just stated, or one of the practicals was to write a 2 to 3 minute speech. Now, I can write a speech with all of what you have said. It probably will be an hour long though. So how do we set the boundaries, or how do we watch our speech and put an estimated time to what we have written?
So because you're on the spot today, maybe a paragraph, one paragraph, which consists of 5 to 7 sentences, a paragraph and a little bit might hit you at a 2 to 3 minute mark. Ideally, when you're preparing for a speech and the organizer says to you, you have 10 minutes to present, what you'll do is record yourself. Not record yourself. You could record yourself too. That's a really good point. But time yourself. Pull up the time on your phone, Google something, your computer, and start the time and start doing your speech as you have practiced it. And then go all the way through your speech, because you'll need to see how much overtime you've gone. If you see 10 minutes coming, you still have a whole set of things to do, still read it out and time yourself, see how much time you're actually over. After you've done that, then you start to look through, review your speech and see, okay, where can I take out something? What can I remove? So you do it like that. So that's the ideal way, when you're able to prepare in a better manner than being impromptu today to give a 2 to 3 minute speech. you time yourself, you record yourself, and you redact information. The information that was just there for fluff's sake, you could redact that and go from there. Toastmaster Rhonda.
Hi, good day. Thank you for the presentation you're giving. I just want to respond a little bit more objectively to the question that was just asked. In average, we speak about 120 to 160 words per minute. And that should give you an idea in terms of if you want to do a 5-minute speech, then you should have like a 600 or a little over in terms of the amount of words if you're using your document, your Word document, and that will give you an average in writing around how long your speech is going to be. So I just wanted to respond that way. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for the objectivity as well. And
Thank
of
you.
course, you'll need to know the rate that you speak at and how often you pause and how some people speak fast, some people speak slow. So you'll need to find where you're at so that objectivity would fit as well. I see Toastmaster, whose hand was first? Suzanne. Toastmaster Suzanne.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Just following on from that question, when I write a speech, I like to use Century Gothic size 16 and 1.5 line spacing. And I know that once I have like between 4 to 6 pages, that I've got my 5 to 7 minutes. That's how I use it. And I cut it down accordingly.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Size and space.
Wow.
And know how much pages to use. That's actually one of the ways that I employ how long my speech would be. So each time I write a new speech, I would pull up an old speech, make sure the same setting is set, and go from there. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Susan, for sharing that. Toastmaster Keisha.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Presenter. Good morning, everyone. In terms of not going over time when actually delivering the speech, one useful tip is to obviously time yourself when you're practicing, but be aware of your time. For example, if you're doing a 5 to 7 minute speech, you do not want to practice at 7 minutes for sure. When you're practicing, you try to finish between 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 6 minutes. Try not to go over 6:30 during the practice. And during the actual presentation, because things can happen, people can laugh, you have to pause, whatever the case may be, then you are unlikely to go over the 7 minutes. So that's just my tip.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Very useful tips. Very useful tips that I know we're all gleaning from. Toastmaster Rhonda Lynch.
Hi, me again. The Udly tool that we have available on the Toastmasters website, if you practice your speaking using it, it gives you an idea of what your general pace in terms of your speaking is like. And that will give you a guide in terms of if you tend to speak slower, it tells you if you're speaking too slowly, if you're speaking too quickly, it gives you a guide, as well as you can use it as a reference in terms of how many words per minute you speak and how you can plan your speaking time based on that. Thanks.
Lovely. Thank you. I didn't even know there was such a tool. Toastmaster Rhonda, if you could pull up the link and drop it in the chat for us.
It's an AI tool. So once you go on your home page on Toastmasters, if you scroll down, you would see the word Yoodli, Y-O-O-D-L-I. Just click on it and it will give you an idea. You can, experiment with it and you can see how it might be able to assist. I used it yesterday to do some practice in table topics and in speaking, looking at, it's an AI tool. So it tells you how you're putting yourself in the frame. It gives you an idea of what weak words you're using, if you're using too many arms, that sort of thing. So it objectively gives you an evaluation on how you're speaking. When you're using it, it can give you a transcript of what you're speaking as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. We have a few Udly ambassadors in Toastmasters International, and we have a few in the Caribbean as well, or who are connected to us. So if you want more in terms of teaching and training on that, just reach out to me and I will link you with one of the persons.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Well noted. I'm sure we could all benefit from that. And I'll take one more question or comment as our time is up, and we'll go from there. Toastmaster Erno.
Good morning, everyone.
Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, can you share with us your techniques for capturing your audience's attention in the first 3 seconds of your speech?
One of the ways that I like to use interactive questions or have persons say something. So for example, one of my recent speeches, I said, when I say speech, you say a-thon. I said speech, they said a-thon, and the entire audience engaged immediately. To use quotes. I use a quote to capture persons and rhetorical questions, asking a question that will cause a person to pause, reflect, and think, and then you kind of prime them up for, okay, what is she gonna say next? So that's some of the things that I use, and stories. So it depends on the audience, depends on what I want to relay, depends on my mood, my energy, what I'll use to start my speech off to make sure I get a good hook on my audience. Thank you so much for that question. And now it's time for our presentation. So we have some speakers prepared, prime up, and ready to deliver speeches to us this morning. This is absolutely random. There are no paid actors here. Persons that registered, attended, and came. I did not have side conversations. They would have written their 2 to 3 minute speech just now upon request. So we're gonna introduce our first Toastmaster of the day. She's actually the logistical manager for Division E. She's very vibrant, beautiful. I saw her inside and out, literally. My mama, Toastmaster Christine Stapleton, who will present to us as the first speaker within 2 to 3 minutes. Toastmaster Christine, take it away. You're muted.
Sorry, I am trying to share my, okay. I'm not sure if you can see me well enough, but I am doing a speech today. A day I would always remember. Sharie was the sound that could be heard on November 7th, 2017, around 7:15 a.m. at our home. With all the strength I could muster up, I ran to the door of a now boarded up room with plywood that we could find around the yard, because this was the aftermath of Hurricane Irma and Maria, which was a Cat 5, by the way, that visited us back in 2017. I shouted my daughter's name. Upon hearing my name, upon hearing her name, she replied, "Ma, what happened?" and came running to my aid. And after seeing me, she said, "Get ready. We're going to the hospital." Mind you, to this day, I don't know what it is that my daughter saw in me, what made her so frightened, but her words to me were chilling as she said, "Get ready. And if you're not ready by the time I am finished getting ready, I am going to come and bathe you." She didn't have anything else. It wasn't the hospital part that got me shaken up. It wasn't the fact that the look on her face was like, what is happening to my mom? It was not that. Can you tell me what it was that made me scramble, muster up all the strength that I can get with the Lord's help? Can you tell me what made me get up and showered before she got back? Can you tell me?
The fact that she wanted to bathe you.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. You are today. The fact that she wanted to bathe me, I was like, no, 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 not today. Not today. I mustered all the strength that I could find. I got into that shower and I was ready before she came back. That's what made me get up and go. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Sharie-Ann.
Thank you so much. I remember that, yes. She don't want me being her people. Wow. Motivation at best. All right. Now we're going to call on our next speaker, Toastmaster Marvin Thompson, who was getting there slowly but surely. And we'll work with whatever you have. We're not looking for perfection, though we strive for excellence. Is a workshop, is a no judgment zone, and we just want to see you implement some of the things that you learned here today. So without further ado, all I know about Toastmaster Marvin Thompson is that he has a soothing voice from when he responded just now. So I'll welcome Toastmaster Marvin Thompson to give us your 2 to 3 minute speech at today's workshop.
Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fortunately, I may not be able to share my screen right now, but you'll hear my voice.
Okay.
I am me. My flaws, the good, the bad, the ugly. I am me. My smile, my emotions, be it anger, be it I am angry. I am me. There are times when we feel that we need to make certain changes, or based on what persons said to us, that we need to change ourselves, chip off certain things. And at times that is true. However, everything that makes us up, everything that we go through, all our experiences, all our reactions, make up the sum total of who we are. And if we learn to put things into perspective and appreciate them and utilize them to bring out the best us, then the me that persons see and the me that we appreciate in the mirror would be the best me, and the me that we are not afraid to confront, because sometimes we're afraid to confront ourselves. Might be something someone had said to us and we are ashamed, so we hide, we internalize. But I am me. I cannot be you. All I can do is be the best me that I can be. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Woo! Thank you so much, Toastmaster Marvin. Somebody unmute me which rhetorical device he used effectively in his speech.
Anaphoria.
Anaphora. Oh, that was so impressive, Toastmaster Marvin. I know you learned something then, unless you knew it from before, then hey. But that was excellent. I am me. Don't look for me to be like you, because I am me. I have energy. Don't look for me to act like I'm by a graveside. I am me.
Hello? Good morning. Hello?
Yes. All right. And of course, Toastmaster
What's
Christine.
that? I'm not seeing.
Hello. There's okay. I think that mic was muted. Toastmaster Christine utilized storytelling. Now we probably have like 2 minutes in this segment, and I want to give one other person an opportunity. Toastmaster Cheryl Mingo, I didn't hear back from you, and I don't want to put you on the spot if you're unable to speak. But if there is somebody who's willing to give a quick 1:30 speech right now, unmute your mic and take it away.
Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, I'll try.
Go ahead, Toastmaster Michelle Pradell.
Speech writing is very difficult for me, so I was riveted to your presentation and I tried to summarize it. Demystifying crafting a speech. Contest season is from November to December. This year, it will be held physically. Imagine standing in front of your audience with hundreds of eyes fixed on you, waiting for you to start delivering an impactful speech. Your audience has your undivided attention. Are you ready to deliver? Despite the type of speech you give, whether it's a toast or a simple speech such as this, the way you structure your speech can be the difference between a message that impacts your audience and one that's quickly forgotten. You should craft a speech that not only informs, but also inspires. Use variety. According to Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, the key is having an introduction, body, and conclusion. The beginning is your chance to grab your audience's attention. You use a compelling story, quote, or rhetorical question. This will pull your audience in and make them want to listen. Then move to the body, where you list your main points. Build on each point and keep it to a maximum of 3, depending on the length of your speech. Ensure you use transitions to connect your thoughts. Finally, leave a lasting impression on your audience in the conclusion. For instance, a call for action. Also, summarize your key points and deliver a strong closing statement. So the next time you stand before an audience, remember, a well-structured speech is like a riveting story. It has a clear introduction, an impactful body, and a powerful end. It's not what you say, it's about how you say it. When you master the structure of your speech, your words won't just be heard, they will be felt, remembered, and acted upon. Thank you.
Lovely. Toastmaster Michelle Pradell in the house. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. For those of you that probably missed it and was looking for a summary, bam, boom, bam, bam. There you have it. Beautifully put, Toastmaster Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, my time has come to an end for this particular segment. And I just want to say thank you for having me this morning, for engaging, being part of this workshop today. And I hope that every person was able to glean something and take away something that would enhance your speech writing, which would then trickle into your speech delivery the next time you speak. Back to you, Toastmaster of this workshop, Toastmaster Sassoon.
Good day all. I hope everyone have taken a message. Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, my apologies. Toastmaster Sharie-Ann, I hope everyone has gotten a good bit of information like I have. I was preparing to write a speech for our meeting on Tuesday. After this workshop, I made so much notes, I think I have to start over. However, it was impressive. I have notes. I am ready to go. Any other questions? You've covered all your question segments as well. Any other questions for Toastmaster Sharie-Ann before we head to closing?
I just have one question. This is DTM Jean Small. Very interesting workshop. But I would like to know if I will get a copy of the recording because I missed some of it.
That is the burning question today.
Yeah.
I
had a sound problem, so I missed a lot of it.
Okay. Division Director, can you confirm if this workshop going to be shared or how it's going to be shared?
Definitely, with all registrants, all persons who attended would receive a copy of the recording.
Oh, great, thanks.
So at this
Good
time,
morning.
yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I am Toastmaster Lynette from Guyana.
Welcome, good morning.
This workshop was a timely one because next week I am supposed to be presenting, I'm a lion also, and I am supposed to be presenting on a topic for Lions members. And this workshop helped me to put a structure, and I came up with the topic. As our presenter said, we must have a topic: membership satisfaction. My audience is Lions Club members, and my purpose, I will persuade. I will use the persuasion to have them. And in my opening, I said I will use the lion's roar. It's something that will grab their attention, because when I run into, and I will do that like running into the classroom and saying, roar lions, roar, roar, roar. And then everybody will want to know if my head good. And then from that, I will talk to them about what that means and being a lion. And then I list my main points, because I use the structure she gave, and I list main points like opportunity to serve and the opportunities to meet friends and all of that, and what we do and celebrate yourself and most proud moments. And then at the end, for our conclusion, I will encourage them to join and do a recap. So this training gave me my presentation outline that I will use to develop my presentation for next week. Thank you very much.
Awesome. A bit of housekeeping. We're taking attendance. If everyone can turn their camera on for a little second as we screenshot all in attendance, that would be greatly appreciated. So we can have some nice faces. There we go. Division Director, take it away.
Are we ready, page one?
Page one. We are page one. That's it.
3, 2, 1. Toastmaster Arnold, Toastmaster Ann, Toastmaster Michelle, Toastmaster Catherine. Can you turn on your cameras? Everybody else is on and smiling. Toastmaster Ann, Toastmaster Michelle, Toastmaster Arnold. Are we ready? Okay, they're not turning on. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Page 2. Awesome. A lot of you are ready. Toastmaster Dion, Rhonda, Kashina, Ria, Leah, Shaquan, Rohani. If you can turn your cameras on, that would be awesome. Mishnella, Kadian. In 3, hold 1 second, I'm waiting. Hold on.
My smile is hurting.
Page 2, we're ready. 3, 2. Toastmaster Shanette. 1. Smile. Awesome. Final page. I'm seeing Kadian ready on page 3. Toastmaster Rohani is here. Toastmaster Shanette, you're over here again. Can you turn on? 1 second. We're on page 3, the final page. Awesome, I just saw Shanette. Division I, St. Martin, Leona. Many persons' cameras are off on page 380, Kedimone. We're ready?
I smile for page 1.
I hope you're there. I don't recall. You're no longer on 3. 3, 2. Let me call out some of the names again, because most cameras are off. Thank you, Toastmaster. Someone I'm seeing there. Cavell, Kashina, Rhonda, Rohani, thank you. Leah, Ria. Thank you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Got it. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for your cooperation. Toastmaster, Toastmaster Christine, how did you manage to be in every page? Impressive.
I'll tell you the secret one of these days when I find it out myself.
Awesome. At this moment, I would like to hand the virtual lectern over. Oh, it looks so beautiful. Amazing. To our, 1 second, I am having. To our Assistant Director of Program Quality, Dianelle Taylor Williams, who will open the floor for reflections and lead us right into closing remarks. Toastmaster Dianelle.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sassoon. At this time, as indicated, we are going to invite you to share your feedback on today's session. I know some persons would have already started, but this is the official period when you can share your thoughts and give us your feedback on this session. I'd also like to remind you, or to share with you, if you have not seen it already in the chat, there's a link with a brief survey in which you are also asked to share your feedback on the sessions. As you know, having your feedback will help us to improve for future workshops. Now, the question I want to ask during our reflection is, what was the most impactful part of today's session for you? What was the most impactful part of today's session for you? And the floor is now open.
I'd like to chime in. Toastmaster Daniel. The most impactful part for me would have to be the tone. I've always struggled with my tone, whether it's too high, too low, it's too fast, too slow, my pitch. So I would think the tone would be a great takeaway. And the introduction, capturing your audience from the introduction, that would be the two most impactful parts for me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sassoon. Is there anyone else online who has not yet spoken, who would like to share with us what impacted them most? I noticed that we did not have many questions initially, and we assumed it is because the session was so impactful and all of the things, the positive things. Now is your opportunity to share what was so impactful that you did not have many questions to ask. Anyone else? Or should I just volunteer?
For me. Hello? Yeah.
Beverly Bob's hand.
Is someone else speaking?
Beverly Bob, your hand is up.
Yes, I wanted to share. Sorry, I'm a bit hoarse. I wanted to share that the most impactful part for me would have been the use of research and rhetoric devices. That was very impactful because I know that when we use those devices in our speeches, it impacts the audience if we know how to use them. And I know that, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I know that this speech writing workshop was a general one. It was to the point. It listed so many things that we should know as Toastmasters. I would want to know, though, if there would be, or if there should be, workshops on how to write specialized speeches, like a humorous speech, an informational speech, that sort of thing, because I know this is general, but how do we incorporate these things into those types of speeches? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think that is where the survey comes in. However, I've been seeing comments that the link is invalid. So I'm hoping our logistics manager could assist in terms of having the correct link. And we could use the opportunity of the link and the survey to provide that sort of feedback, because the trainings that we are planning, which will be monthly, will be based on the feedback we receive from our members.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, the link
You're
is
welcome.
invalid. You can't access it.
Okay. Can we have one more person to share on what stood out to them in today's session? Even if it's just a question someone else asked, but I believe there was quite a bit in what our presenter shared.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Just listen to that. One of the most impactful parts of her presentation was including a little storytelling to draw in your audience attention. And that part about just revealing a little bit about yourself so that they could make a little connection. You know, it doesn't have to be a whole big long life tale story, but that drawing them in, that was one of the most impactful part, because we know we all like a little storytelling. Woo, your hand on your chin on your, and you want to, what next can you say? I think was impactful for me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. I did not get the name, but I thank you very much. I saw the last name, Honore.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. I too like that part in terms of the personalization, because we connect when we hear about others. And so that was also very impactful for me as well. At this time, I'd like to invite our logistics manager to share the certificate, because of course, as Cicero said, and I quote, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others." And so I want to, on behalf of our Division Council and all of the participants here this morning, because I'm sure all of us would agree with me that we had a very informative, interactive, we could not have been bored in this session. I missed the earliest part, but I can tell from the interactions as we went on that we were involved. And so I would want to express gratitude to Toastmaster Sharie-Ann Stapleton for this presentation and the work that was done putting this together. Can we indicate a round of applause using our emojis to express our appreciation to Toastmaster Sharie-Ann? Thank you so much. If we do not have any other reflections at this time, I'd like to bring closing remarks on behalf of Division E, and to thank our district director for taking the time out to participate in this morning's session, as well as all of the other guests from other divisions who are joining with us and who might be here also representing the district council. Thank you to all the members of Division E who took the time out to be a part of this session. It was really informative. It was really impactful. I'm sure every one of us has taken something, no matter how small, away from this. And even if it is very small, just remember, seed is small, but huge trees will grow from small seeds. So that seed that you took away from this morning, I'm sure we're gonna have some great trees in terms of the speeches we present and our participation in our speech contest. So in closing, thank you to everyone for participating. We look forward to you joining us at the end of September for our next in the series of monthly training sessions. Thank you and have a blessed weekend and a great week ahead.